Hi everyone, my name is Tricia with Tech Knowledge. This is our final video in our series for Women's Appreciation Month, and this episode I have with me today, Ali. Welcome, Ali.
Hey Trish, thanks everybody.
Hi. Okay, so Ali, thanks so much for joining me. Why don't you tell our listeners or viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, Ali Goodwin, everyone, thanks for the intro, Trish. I am in my professional career the director of corporate relations for a company called TruScripts in Southern Indiana. TruScripts is a PBM or prescription benefits manager. So, in a nutshell, for those of you not familiar with PBMs, we function as the middleman between drug manufacturers and pharmacies and plan sponsors. Those are the employers who provide the health insurance benefits to the employees. So as the PBM, we work for the plan sponsor and the members, and it is our duty to manage prescription drug claims and work to just lower the cost of those prescription drugs, which we all know can be well out of control these days. Outside of my professional career, I'm kind of just a hick from Southern Indiana. I love, being outdoors in the woods, at the river, just anything outside, really. We do a lot of hiking and side-by-siding and all that fun stuff.
So, how did you get to where you are in your current career?
Oh gosh. Well, it was somewhat by happenstance. I know I mentioned there aren't a lot of people who are super familiar with PBMs. I was one of those people prior to coming on board 4 years ago. And I know I gave a brief overview of my job, but if you're not familiar with the PBM industry, it's hard to quickly explain how complex and crazy it all is. I was fortunate enough to come on board with TruScripts and learn things the right way. I've drank from a fire hose for the past 4 years, but there's a lot of PBMs who practice dirty, ugly, profiteering practices at the expense of Americans with healthcare needs. So getting to dig in and learn everything that I've learned not coming from this industry has been a wild ride. But now I get to work with one of the good guys who fights the good fight and is really just trying to build a better future for healthcare. I get to be part of an incredible team who can build programs and deliver services unlike anything the PBM industry has ever seen. And it's their grit and brilliance that fuels my passion and why I've worked so hard to get where I am with TruScripts today.
That's awesome. That's actually an amazing service. Now, I work in healthcare IT, so I know, I'm in the realm of that. I understand what it does. And so
Yeah.
would you say that you guys are really advocating for your patients? Is that part of like your mission?
Absolutely. Yeah. Patient access to care is such a huge thing for us. Being in the middle, we kind of have the opportunity to help bridge gaps in patient care between maybe the patient's doctor and their pharmacist. And so where we sit, we're absolutely advocates for the patient and the healthcare experience.
Yeah, I find that there are certain patient populations that are really just disadvantaged with access to healthcare and access to resources. So that's really great that you're providing that benefit. What makes you so passionate about your organization?
I mean, really, it goes back to the team of people that I've had the opportunity to work with. They are unmatched. Everyone cares so much about what we're doing and why we're doing it that it's impossible for it not to be contagious. So seeing the other PBMs that are just profiting off of the needs of others is disgusting. So being able to work with an organization and people who are combating that and who actually care our team is super close. We have a lot of fun. We are actually friends. It really fuels your professional desire to do more and be better.
And how long has your organization been around? Or do you feel like you guys are industry disruptors, being that you focus on the advocacy portion?
Oh yeah, we're some trailblazers for sure. And we actually just celebrated our 10th anniversary. So we're a fairly young company, but we've had explosive growth over those past 10 years. I think when I came on 4 years ago, I was number 62, and now we are at 155 ish. So
Oh, wow.
we're growing like crazy. Where we service clients and members nationwide, and definitely a disruptor in the space.
So you guys are really doing really, really good things for your patients. You're advocating, and that's just a wonderful thing, especially considering the state of healthcare in the country, and access to care. So that's really wonderful. And one of the reasons why I was excited to have you on is because, your role and your passion for helping people, I think that ties in really nicely to TKW and all of its members and what we like to do and how we like to give back. So, why don't you tell us how you got involved with technology?
Sure. So I am involved with TKW so my fiance Dan joined TKW a few years back, and since then I've got to travel with him to some of y'all's events, and just meet others on your team, and become part of the organization. So it's been super fun, and watching him become part of the organization has been really, really fun to watch as well.
Yeah, it's been great. So we're talking about Dan Higdon. He is one of our wonderful tech advisors, and he is just absolutely great to work with. He's just like so motivated, and he's really engaged, and we love having him. And we love having him at our event. So he was at our last Thanksgiving. You were able to come along with that. So that was really exciting. What was it like seeing all the guys actually hands dirty doing all their work?
So I always joke when people ask me what Dan does, I say he's part of the nerd herd. I don't really know what he does. I am so just not well versed in technology. So it is so nice having him around. He has so much more patience. And then to realize that this whole organization has that same mindset as he does, and watching you all work together, it is a well-oiled machine. I mean, that last building that we were on, there are people in every room. There are people in basements and in the ceilings, and I mean literally spread out, and but it's like you guys are all communicating. You know what's going on, even though you don't all work together on a daily basis. Everyone has their own jobs across the country. And it was like how the way that you were all able to come together and work and be that well-oiled machine was really crazy to watch. And it was very impressive.
Yeah, that was the second Thanksgiving that I got to participate in, and it was really as my second one. I felt more comfortable then, but yeah, it really does. It's a well-oiled machine, and people are all over the place, and that's part of what makes TKW so great is having people from so many different areas of the industry who can come together in one place. So what makes TKW special to you?
So I'm going to preface this a little bit. Myself coming on to TrueScripts in my professional career was something that really lit a fire in me, and just fueled my professional development. Dan got to watch me become part of something that matters, and just be part of a bigger group and a bigger cause. And for him, as a small family owned business owner, he was missing that in his professional career. So for him, finding TKW, it's given him a bigger team and a bigger mission to be a part of. It's provided a sense of professional development for him that didn't really previously exist. And that's a somewhat of a personal reason that TKW is so special to me, but it's also the broad mission of your organization that's so special. Technology, it's no longer a luxury, it's a standard. But not everyone has the fortunate opportunity for access to this standard. So it's awesome to see TKW come in and help others obtain access to the tools and technology that so many of us are accustomed to using, but probably take for granted.
Yeah, I actually love that, and I'm going to save that for later. Technology is no longer a luxury, but a necessity. It absolutely is. And it's great. And when we did Baraka Church 2 years ago, it was really great because we were able to, fit their doors with locks and provide the security so they could feel safe for when they have women and children in the area, in their buildings. That was really, really great. And that's for me, actually, as well. That's one of the reasons why I like being part of technology is because I work for a non-for-profit hospital and we give back to the community. It's in South Jersey, so we give back a lot in the Camden community with all sorts of things. So that's what drives me to TKW. That's what drives me to do this work because I feel like we're making an impact.
Yeah,
Um,
you're right. And technology isn't just, I think a lot of people right now are associating AI. No, technology is security and safety. A
mhm.
lot of, you guys have installed cameras and like you just said,
Yes.
locks. And it really is, it's safety and security, not just, internet access or a
Yes,
computer
absolutely.
at
Yeah,
your
absolutely. It's
fingertips.
so much more than that. So much more than that. So this year we are hosting TEKFest in Nashville. Will we? Can we expect to see you there?
I think I am going to make it. I have several conferences that month, but I think I've worked it out where I can make it for a couple days there, which is super exciting because, as you know, TruScripts was able to sponsor TechFest, and so I'm really excited to go uh, help represent and see what all fun stuff you guys have going on this year.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So TrueScripts is partially sponsoring the event. So how did you convince them to do that? You went to them and say, "Hey, I have this company. I have tech knowledge. What is that?" How did you get them to buy in?
So we are TrueScripts in just in general is a very philanthropic organization. We love to be able to support the communities that we work in. Like I said, we're nationwide. So the communities that support us, we love to be able to give back to. But technology is a very, very big focus for us at TrueScripts. We kind of joke that we're really just a data company that happens to deal in prescription benefits, but our technology it's so advanced, and I think it's even something that I don't fully grasp. Dan will see some of what we have going on in the technology and data space, and he's blown away. So it's big for us, and the fact that you guys have such a philanthropic focus with giving back in that way, we're more than excited and honored to help serve that mission with y'all.
That's great. Thank you. So I want to pivot a little bit. It's Women's Appreciation Month, so I just want to talk about women in general. I was looking on your LinkedIn, and you shared an article recently, and you had some thoughts about it. So I wanted to just touch on that. So there was an article that basically said women feel uneducated and unprepared to deal with AI and technology. What do you think about that?
So yeah, it was really the headline of that article. It came across in my email inbox. It was like first thing Monday morning, and the headline read, "Women are falling behind men in learning AI skills." And I'm like, okay, well, what a general statement. And I'm like, are we falling behind, or are we choosing not to let a robot take place of our creative minds? And so that was just a little yeah, stubbornness in me. But and it's just what a broad,
What a
ambiguous
broad headline,
headline.
right? To
Yeah.
paint all women are underprepared. Why do you think it's important or to support women in all industries? And why can headlines like that be hurtful?
So I really think that, like you just said, any kind of broad generalization as that can be just untrue. I mean, hurtful, untrue, like almost everything in life, there are so many factors to take into consideration depending on the individual or the circumstances at hand. I recently attended a women's leadership summit where the keynote speaker was speaking about the importance of women in the workplace and female leaders. And her reason was that women inherently bring a level of compassion and care that men do not. And myself, as a woman, I just don't really resonate with that. I'm not I'm not really geared with that tender caretaker attitude mentality that some might associate with the typical woman, whatever that is. So, I think just saying in general, that's a little bit of a stretch for me.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there because it is really like a broad generalization because there are women of all shapes and sizes and all attitudes and the way in which they lead. And I think that's the same for men and women, but I
Yeah.
think we get painted with a broad stroke
Hmm.
to say, oh, well, you must be caring and tender because you're a woman. You must want to do, handle things this way. And that is absolutely not always the case.
No. And I think, if there is a boss lady in your organization and you are underestimating her simply because she's female, well, shame on you. And she'll just prove you wrong. And I assure you that as a woman, we do love watching y'all eat crow.
We absolutely do. Yeah. And I think some of those women who aren't, don't work within the confines of what a traditional woman is, women who are assertive and, really career driven. Sometimes they get labeled as aggressive instead of career oriented.
Hmm.
Little words like that in the language that are really generalizations, I think, do a disservice to women in any industry.
Yep. I totally agree with you. And I think, you asked, the importance of supporting women in all industries. And it's just that it's having that support system there for the women who are underestimated or who are labeled as aggressive or such. It's just important that they have other people, not even necessarily women. I mean, men can be in their corner also to help them
Absolutely.
thrive and prove the naysayers wrong, because what an insane disservice it would be to not support a literal entire population of creative minds and brilliant efforts.
Yeah, yeah. One of the, not to plug technology again, but one of the nice things about technology is their drive to be inclusive. It's not just Women's Appreciation Month and forget about it. We have myself on the leadership team, and we recently brought up Gina DeMarco as one of our technical advisors. So we're really, really have a drive to be inclusive and make sure that women have a voice and are represented in technology. And it sounds like your industry, would you say you feel supported as a woman in your industry and in your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I also work in a male dominated industry, but I 1000% have support. And you should definitely, I mean, plug TKW away because y'all really do make a conscious effort to be a well rounded organization in so many different facets.
All right, so let's pivot to some fun questions. All right. So we'll do rapid fire fun questions. So first, favorite food.
Anything with cheese on it. Can I
Any
just, yeah,
particular type of
cheese.
cheese?
No, no, I don't discriminate.
That's great. Favorite show to binge watch?
I think I've only ever truly binge watched one show, and that was Game of Thrones because I was forced by Dan.
You didn't like it?
It wasn't that I would not have watched it otherwise, but he insisted that I did end up liking it,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was
I
nice
think.
because I watched it years after it came out, so I didn't have to wait. So I truly was able to binge watch it.
Oh no! See, I made the mistake. I jumped into Game of Thrones season 4 and binge watched that, and then
No,
then I had to wait for the rest of the season. So I was like, oh, this stinks. I shouldn't have
no, that would have been hard.
done that. All right. So I see you and Dan posting a lot. You guys are super active, outdoors all the time. What's your favorite workout? And who's tougher?
So, yeah, we do a lot of hiking. So we did our first 14er last year. We did Pikes Peak, and he. So you asked who is tougher. When we both got done and were able to talk to each other, we were both in our own heads going, "We can't quit because the other one's going to call us a sissy." Or
That's great.
so we both, yeah, but we love being outdoors, hiking. we do hot yoga together too. So
So what's that like? I've never done it. Like how hot is the room?
100 over 100 degrees, right at
Oh
100
my goodness.
degrees. Yeah. So, but it's a good time.
How
Definitely a
good?
winter activity.
How flexible is Dan? I can't imagine Dan doing the downward dog.
No, he's very flexible. You would be shocked.
So no, so at the next Thanksgiving, if we need somebody to crawl up into crawl spaces, we know that Dan's our guy.
100%.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ali, for taking the time to talk with me today. Is there anything else about your organization that you'd like to share?
No, I don't want to make this about TrueScripts. Shared quite a bit, and not to overwhelm anyone, because I know, again, not too many people are all too familiar in that PBM space. But if anyone does have interest in learning more about what we're doing, I would love to chat about it. And I'm on LinkedIn, or y'all can email me. It's Ali, ALIG, at TrueScripts.com. And I'll be happy to chat with any of you.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. Well,
Thanks,
it was
Tricia.
lovely having you. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, Ali.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.